Hello everyone, Commando X78 here, and as you probably know, or it's probably been a week since then, but Battlefield V is officially dead. Now, did we expect this to happen to the game? I don't know, it's tough to say. I mean, I expected the game to die off at some point, honestly, because there were just so many negative things happening at the time, but I mean, as of this June, Battlefield 5 actually, sorry about that, will be getting its last update. And that's it. No Eastern Front, no Western Front, no D-Day scenarios or anything like that. Battlefield V is officially dead. It will finally the game will be put out of its misery. A lot of it was caused by itself and some horrible mismanagement, but it's for the best. It's for the best. And the great thing is now since the game is done, the team at DICE can go and move on to work on to Battlefield 6, which is hopefully going to come out sometime in 2021. So in this video, I wanted to actually go over some of the bad things of Battlefield V, but also I wanted to go over some of the other positives. Battlefield V was it was a very substandard game from DICE when it came out. I remember playing in the alpha, or the beta, sorry. The open beta. I enjoyed it. It ran well. It looked good. And it gave you a slight taste of the game that, we all hoped they would provide. Turns out when the game came out, there were quite a lot of issues. But before we get into that, remember the trailer. The trailer caused a lot of problems when it was released. You had problems such as, the women in the trailer, the cyborg arms, people were complaining about that. I still remember people are always like, why are you saying cyborg arms? Well, it's because a lot of people were saying it was a cyborg arm. That's the big joke. It's a cyborg arm. Even though it's a prosthetic, people made that joke. It just looked hilarious, honestly. It really did. It didn't fit in at all. Anyways, DICE had to scrap all of that for very obvious reasons. That was absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe that they actually threw that in there. Then you also had the moment where, you're not all educated. If you don't like it, don't buy it. All that. You also remember some DICE individuals threw a party making fun of everyone complaining about the game, and that was just a really, really bad situation they put themselves in. And well, you mess around and you're gonna get hurt. Trying to think of that one quote. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. I guess that's what happens. They messed around and they got the full brunt of their entire fan base coming at them. So from the launch of the game, what I remember was in the beta, the game ran well. When the full game came out, it ran okay. It was absolutely fine. Now, over the next couple patches, game performance severely dropped. Then we had the introduction of all the terrible stuttering that began. The stuttering was absolutely brutal to play with, and till this day, it never fully got resolved. It still occurs, and what's crazy though is people with you could have a multi-million-dollar system. You could have a NASA computer, and what's crazy though is that everyone had to play the game on min latency to avoid those stutters. That's just unheard of. you know, all these people have all these different systems, and in order to get a reasonable frame rate and to not be dealing with stutters, or to minimize them, you'd have to play on min latency, but even on min latency, you'd still have stuttering. So it was virtually impossible to play the game at some points in time. I remember at first it wasn't as bad, but after a few patches, stuttering became just brutal in the game. It just made the game completely unfun to play, and it was a very disappointing experience. DICE did do some work on it. They did manage to fix some of the stuttering, but needless to say, it came back. You know, it came back into the game at a certain point, and it was quite a mess that still hasn't been fixed. I'll be interested to see if this June they fix it, finally. But I mean, what, it's been 2 years, and wow. I mean, it's still pretty terrible. Other performance-wise is, you know, yeah, everyone has to play on min latency because the game does not run all that well, especially on higher settings. It's amazing. I have a pretty good PC, something I've built up for years, and have all updated drivers and all that, and you have to play on min latency just to get good frames, and even then you'll still have massive stutters. It's, you know, Battlefield's known for not only its beauty, the graphics are amazing, but also it runs well. You know, you have games like Battlefield 3, 4, Battlefield 1 ran amazingly. It was optimized. It was amazing, and it looked great. Battlefield V just doesn't have any of that. You know, they don't have the tech, which we'll get into later. So not only did we have the stuttering, but, you know, we also had the, you know, limited game modes. Now, what I mean by this is you'd have, every once in a while in a Tides of War chapter, you would have a certain game mode pop up. So let's say Rush would pop up then. Originally Rush was like a hidden game mode. You know, other game modes, there are other hidden game modes like the one radio outpost mode where you're fighting over radio control points where you get troops and all that. But anyways, what these do is they show up for, you know, like a week at a time and then disappear. It's absolutely terrible. That shouldn't be in the game. You know, if you're going to have extra game modes, you need to keep them in the game, not take them away after a week. I remember people loved Grind, and that was a fun game mode that people played. Granted, it's just a slaughter funnel, but people loved playing it. And, you know, that completely disappeared within a week. And I don't think it ever came back. And it's not back fully. It disappears and it never comes back. It's crazy. These limited game modes are just terrible, terrible ideas. You can go into Battlefield 4 and play any game mode you want as long as there are people playing it. But all the game modes are there. In Battlefield V, nope, sorry. You missed it by 2 weeks, and now you're going to have to wait another couple months until it appears again. And now the biggest event that probably ruined the Battlefield V game was the time to kill changes. That was the straw, I guess you could say, that broke the camel's back. Now keep in mind, this camel was carrying quite a lot of weight. So when this straw actually broke the camel's back, this game, I think that was the turning point where you knew this game was dead. You know, we had all these great feelings of the Pacific that launched. It actually felt like World War II. And to be completely honest, you know, this Battlefield V game, it felt like a generic German-British war at first, because that's all you had, that's all the sides, you know. And it literally felt like a generic German-British war. And what was funny was, what's really funny though is Battlefield 1942, which released in I think 2002, if I remember right. It has more World War II content, like more actual World War II content than this game. And that's saying something. But anyways, as we get back to my point, the time to kill change absolutely killed the game. That was the point where it just knew it's done. Just put it out of its misery. It's done. It's never gonna get back to where it was. It's never gonna get better. You know, you've had so many great things happen. You know, with the Pacific, and then it just died. You're not. That was the point. That was supposed to be the turning point of this game, but with that time to kill change, this game took a nosedive, and you knew it wasn't gonna recover. You know, you had people complaining. Some people complained, like a very small minority. That's what it feels like to me. You know, complaining about, oh, it's unfair, like I get killed before even seeing people and all that. But in reality, a lot of people actually liked the gunplay in Battlefield V, and actually, I personally love the gunplay in Battlefield V. I enjoy the faster time to kill rate. I also enjoy how you have absolutely zero random bullet deviation, like in the past games of Battlefield 3 and 4. You know, I enjoyed that. You know, you point your gun at this target, and you know all your bullets are going to hit that. You just have to control the recoil. But in Battlefield like 3 and 4, your bullets would randomly deviate, which would mess around with your accuracy. I absolutely love the gunplay in Battlefield V. Well, anyways, so DICE went and changed the time to kill, and that completely infuriated the community, because why did you waste all this time? They wasted a good couple months. Working on this time to kill change that ultimately had to be reverted because so many people absolutely hated it. It was insane. I could not believe that they did that. And I mean, in such a late stage in the game's life. Like, I mean, the game was well out for like a year and a half by then. And just that moment, that single-handedly killed this game. Now, also another great thing is, actually, I should have gotten to it earlier, was cheating. Cheating was it's a very bad pandemic that hit Battlefield V, and it never was fixed. I have ran into hackers since day one, and I still run into a few that I know about, and they still haven't been banned. I mean, they can go into servers, go, 185 to like 4 with the Lewis gun, just those classic hacker weapons. It's just so easy to use. They just turn on their program, run their little script that they download from, a cheat site, and, they just rack up the kills, level up within an afternoon to level 60 from level 2, topping the leaderboards game after game, and nothing gets done. You can report them all you want, but nothing gets done. They definitely need to fix whatever anti-cheat they use in Battlefield 6. They definitely need to improve it, because they cannot do this again anti-cheat wise. This was absolutely the worst anti-cheat I've ever seen, and it's an embarrassment. And anyways, the game's... So anyways, if you're wondering about the background footage right now, I didn't want to bore myself by having to play and force myself to play Battlefield V right now. It's not fun. So I'm playing some Payday 2, so I hope you guys are okay with that. Well, despite all the problems with Battlefield V, I think there were a few great things. Like I said before, I enjoyed how the weapons acted in Battlefield V. I enjoyed the time to kill. I enjoyed not having to deal with random bullet deviation. And, you know, one of my other new favorite features was fortifications. I was kind of iffy at first because, you know, Battlefield's mainly a game about destroying structures. And, you know, you can take that structure that an enemy's using as a positive, destroy it, and then, you know, then they don't have that advantage over you. But what the problem with Battlefield games is that sometimes when there's so much destruction going on, you don't have any cover. So I really love the idea that DICE had about creating a system in which you can rebuild or build fortifications, whether it's sandbags or rebuilding a wall made out of, or build some sort of dugout or bunker or wall out of, you know, sandbags anywhere on the map. I think in the future games, I think they should allow you to build fortifications wherever, but have a severe limit. Like you can't like box yourself into a corner or something, or do something ridiculous. But I think that was one of my favorite features of Battlefield V. Also, another feature that I really loved, and this will be the final video the final feature because this video's gone on for a long time, is that I love the fact that anyone in a squad can revive each other. I just find it very helpful sometimes when you're trying to assault an objective or something, because it kind of got difficult when in like the original games, if no one in your squad was a medic, you know, you would just die and then your entire squad would die. But with this feature, you can actually revive your teammates in your squad and without a medic, which I think was helpful sometimes. I know in some of the past games it's there for a reason, but I really enjoyed that feature. It made this game a little more unique from the other games, and I was glad they did it. It was an interesting thing to try, and I don't know, I hope maybe we'll see it in the next game, but I don't think so. So anyways, sorry for this long video, and I know it's kind of a little more laid back. I haven't done these in a while, but you know, I'm gonna try and get back into these hopefully and figure out, you know, do some more videos like this. I am looking forward to the June patch. Well, hopefully, if it comes out in June, hopefully they don't delay it. Another Battlefield joke, but anyways, this has been Commando X798 signing off. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and you'll see some more in the future, and we'll see what happens to the future of Battlefield. Or the future of Battlefield V, who knows? Anything can happen. It's been Commando X, signing off.